Hello everyone, this is Cubics Data Recovery, and what are we looking at today? Today we are looking at Western Digital My Password 4 terabyte, the ones that are sold in the store currently. Most of the stores are selling these drives. It is a Spyglass Ultra 2 family. It has 5 platters and 10 heads. So I'll show you something what happened. This one was dropped, and what do we see here? What happens when you drop the drive, or what may happen when you drop the drive? So we got 10 heads, and if we look over here in this area, these black squares are actual read and write heads. As you can see, this is the other part is the arm that holds the head. So as you can see, some arms don't have heads on them. So what happens? You see, like, this one doesn't have head, this one doesn't, this one doesn't. So basically any head that sits on the left or the top of the surface will not have the head. So basically this one is head 0, head 1, head 2, head 3, head 4, head 5, head 6, head 7, head 8, head 9. So 9, 7, 5, 3, and 1, they are all missing. The other ones are not sitting right as well. So what happens, or how does this happen? Usually when you drop the drive, the gravity sensor will try to park the heads immediately once it senses the free fall, so-called the free fall sensor. It's not the gravity sensor, but the free fall sensor. And then sometimes it does have enough time before the impact happens, and sometimes it doesn't. So, and also a lot of times when a drive hits the surface at a certain angle, the heads are almost on a parking lot. They're not on the surface of the platters, and they are not on the parking ramp, but they are somewhere in between. And what happens is, because of the gravity pulls the heads towards certain direction due to the impact, the forces that apply to the heads and the arms, certain angle, they are basically ripping the heads off when the heads are being parked. So this is why all the data recovery guys will tell you, if you drop the drive, do not attempt to turn it on, because even if the heads manage to get parked on the ramp, these ends, the slider ends, they may still be bent, or something may happen, or like the alignment of the heads may not be proper. And then when you attempt to start the drive, and drive will pull the heads from the parking ramp to the platters, those misaligned heads will scratch the surface. And if that happens, that would be the severe damage, and very likely the data will not be recoverable. So it is imperative not to attempt to power on the drive after you dropped it, especially the big capacity drives like 4 terabytes or 5 terabytes or any other capacities. Actually, any capacity you shouldn't attempt that, but on a bigger capacity it's critical, because they got plenty of heads. So the more heads you have, the more chances you got to damage the platters. So this one has 5 platters and 10 heads, so each surface of each platter has 2 heads. Okay? So do not attempt to turn it on and try to read it. I mean, you may be lucky and win the lottery ticket and you will be able to read something, especially if you have a little bit of data, maybe just a few megabytes or maybe a couple of gigs. But I highly suspect it would not be the case. So be careful with this stuff. This is the drive that we need to do the recovery on it. We're in the process of evaluation, and obviously this is not going to be an easy case. I don't know how the case will turn out, to be honest with you. The drive itself doesn't have dust inside. Well, at least it's not visible. I didn't inspect it yet through the microscope, but usually when something like this happens, there will be dust particles inside, so we're going to have to make an arrangement to get that cleaned up. What else I can say about this drive? People always tell you they didn't drop it. This person said that they didn't drop it. They said it's always worked. Like, let's say it worked on Friday and for some reason it doesn't work on Sunday or Saturday morning anymore. Why? They have no idea. Was it dropped? No, it wasn't dropped. It was all functional. It was all working, and we did the backup to it on Friday, and then it just happened that on Saturday morning it didn't work. So, not that I would not figure it out that this drive was dropped. We will see, and it is obvious that it was dropped somehow. But the point is that when you get to the data recovery guy, he will know what the problem is and what caused it, most likely. Things like that don't happen for no reason. It's clearly was dropped. So the more you tell the guy before they take it for evaluation, the more accurate answer you will get from the guy. So if you ever need data recovery, you might want to be honest with you. It's like having a doctor evaluating your brain before the surgery, and then you tell them, oh, I don't know, I didn't feel nothing, it was all good, and then it just happened. So they do different tests, and when you say that, we're gonna have to do more evaluations, more tests, and it's gonna cost more money for you if you go to the doctor, because they're gonna have to do the CAT scan, they have to do the blood test to see what kind of micro things in your blood running, and all the levels of your things inside of your blood. Same thing here. We're going to evaluate the logs of the controller, try to figure out what happened. And I mean, obviously here it's clear what happened, but we're still evaluating the logs and see what's going on in them. And then all the dust thing have to be addressed. This one probably gonna have to, if we will be able to get drive into the ready mode, ready to operate, we'll be lucky. But it's funny that people never say to you what has happened to the drives. Also, this is shingled magnetic recording, which is way more complex than standard magnetic recording. And if you want to know the difference, let me know. I will explain to you. You can also Google and see what's going on there on this particular topic and what's the difference. Or right now there is a different other technologies are being deployed as well. Heat assisted magnetic recording and microwave assisting recording and all other assisting type of recordings. The manufacturer is trying to figure out how to squeeze a lot of data into the same physical size of the platters. They also experiment with the materials for the platters, coatings, and all the other things. So this requires a lot of research and development, and that requires in turn a lot of time and a lot of effort. So when you go to the doctor and you ask him how much is the brain surgery going to be, don't expect that this is going to cost you $100. There are no such prices as $100 or $300 for drives like that, period. Now, the SSDs, I would like to talk about SSDs as well a little bit. The SSDs, obviously, they don't have any moving parts inside. I'm sure you're aware of that. It's like a big flash drive. I will most likely cover that in the other video, but in this video, we just wanted to look into that. And let me know if you have any other questions. I'll be gladly explain to you what else going on in this field, and if you have any technical questions, you can always ask us. If you experience data loss situation, you can always call us, get free consultation, and find out how can we help you out. But the SSDs, they also have issues. If you think that the SSDs are more reliable in terms of storage, well, it depends on what conditions you're trying to use them on. The SSDs, they do like to be in a very heavy use environment, and they need to be powered down from time to time. You don't want to have SSDs for your long-term storage. Why? I can explain that in another video, but as of right now, we're gonna finish this video up. Thank you for watching. Again, this is Cubics Data Recovery, and we had a Spyglass Ultra 2 4TB Western Digital hard drive with shingled magnetic recording that was dropped. Stay safe, do the backup. Cheers. I decided to add a little bit of explanation of what is the parking ramp, so you'll get a better idea and how it looks like and how the heads are being parked. So this is same drive ramp, and it is usually sitting, let's see, in this position, like this. There is like a little pin that fixes it, that it doesn't move, and it may slide it. If you need to remove it, you can slide it up and down. Now, the heads, let me show you how the heads will go on it. So the heads are sitting here on the platter, and when they need to be at park, they get moved this way, and when they need to be on park, they go that way. And also when they jump off, well, slide off the platters, there is a dividers that go between the platters to help them slide off. So you see there is a little bit of spaces here that allow these plastic ends, sharpened ends, to be on top of the surface, a little bit of on top of the surface of the platter. So when the heads go in off the platter, the sliders on those ends of the arms, they go in these, so to say, guidelines, or there is a term for that. I can't really remember what it's called specifically, but it doesn't really matter in this case. So when they get and slide on it, there's also a divider that divides the heads so they don't touch, which is this area. These fins, so to say, will prevent the heads from touching. You don't want them to be touching each other to prevent any damages to them. They are very sensitive. And these are the stoppers over here, so it wouldn't slide off all the way out until you actually, if you want them to get slide off that way, you can, but you know, these tiny ones over here, they prevent that. And those big fins are separators for the heads. So when the gravity pulls the heads, or when the impact happens, sometimes on a slider end, the guiders that are guide all heads into these trenches, they need to go this way, like they go off the ladders, get on these plastic things and slide over here, and they stop here. So these pins will prevent touching the heads, and the sliders on the arm will help to guide the heads correctly into the parking ramp. So sometimes when the impact is really strong, those guiders can bend, or it will be so quick that when the heads go off the platters before they slide on these guide channels, they kind of go bang together, and then they get stuck here. And then these areas will damage the suspension on the heads or even rip them off. So it's kind of a tricky part, but that's how it works. And again, this is that Spyglass Ultra 2 4-tier Douglas and digital drive parking ramp. This ramp is intact, we can still use that. I'm not seeing any cracks in it, so we can reuse it. Don't have to be cleaned though, but we can reuse it. So that's for the parking ramp.